Right, I can go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 3 of the Accountancy Growth Council. This week, we are talking about making quick wins. I'm going to go through a couple of slides of kind of housekeeping, answering some questions for anyone that's new to the Accountancy Growth Council, and then we'll get into the meat of the webinar as well. I'm aiming to make this webinar about 20 minutes long today after overrunning last week as well. So first question, who are we? My name's Brendan. I'm the good-looking chap on the left of your screen, and here on the screen as well, we've got Harry, who is my co-founder of 1225. We're an organic search growth marketing agency based in Northampton, and we focus in on organic search for, amongst others, one of the main areas is obviously accountants, hence why we've started the Accountancy Growth Council. We'll get on to the Accountancy Growth Council in a second, but why us? Why me and Harry? So we've got a 25 years of combined SEO and digital marketing experience, and we've used that to help service a number of financial clients in the past as well. So PensionBee and the likes of Assets and Clio as well. And also joined on the call that you may see on your screen as well is Josh Truman. He's the de facto kind of chairman or leader of the Accountancy Growth Council. If you're on the webinar today or in future watching the recording, Josh is probably the person that you've kind of spoken to get involved as well. So what is the Accountancy Growth Council? It's a group of, it's an exclusive group of 50 accountancy firms looking to reduce reliance on referrals and accelerate their growth through other channels, including organic search. The council will meet every Wednesday at 10 a.m. For the next 6 weeks, including today, and we're exploring our framework for organic search success. We call it the playbook, which we'll come onto as well. And this playbook, for those that have joined us in the previous 2 weeks as well, you should already have a copy of the SEO playbook as well, which explains each step of organic growth in detail. And our process here with these webinars each week, we're going to go into detail in each one of these steps as well. We also have a lot more free actionable content to come, including some benchmark reports, which will be explained in this webinar as well. So without further ado, the council is now in session for week 3. And again, step 3 of the organic search playbook for accountants sees us talking about quick wins. We've devised these 8 steps for organic search success. This is similar for every kind of industry and sector, but obviously we specify for accountancy firms kind of the steps and kind of the angles, the tools that will best suit your industry as well. We've already had 2 successful webinars in the past on understanding and foundations. So today our focus is on quick wins. So before we get into that, a quick recap on the foundations of organic search success for accountancy firms. So we can see that many accountancy firms do not invest in digital marketing, especially organic search. And like the benchmark report I mentioned a moment ago, we've actually audited over 200 accountancy firm websites, and an alarming 57% of those lack the essential foundations required for effective organic search. So the playbook for organic search success will really help each of these accountancy firms moving forward to grow their business and reduce the reliance on referrals. Now, the key areas to help on kind of building the foundations on-page factors as well. So we discussed 3 elements. So there were the meta titles. These are the kind of vital links that you get on Google, and we discussed how to optimize those as well. So do check back on week 2's webinar to understand how to do that. We also discussed meta descriptions, which are the kind of brief summaries underneath the meta titles. They give more of a kind of signposting about what the content's actually going to be about on each page. and they serve as an engagement opportunity to convince users to click on the link as well. And we also discussed header tags, especially H1 tags, which again, they're like the title on your page. And a lot of these accountancy firms that we audited, many of you on this call today, in fact, won't be making best use of H1 tags and also meta titles, meta descriptions as well. So it's about optimizing all of those using certain tools, and then that gives you a really good head start to get into quick wins as well. So step 3 is making quick wins. Now this is split into 2 areas, which I'll go into. But just to kind of frame this or introduce this, you are the experts at what you do. As accountancy firms, you should know absolutely everything there is to know about accountancy and all the services that are underneath that. And in the digital age, it's often easy to forget that people still buy from people. And we're all looking and seeking solutions from trusted professionals. Like us, when on our search, myself and Harry, as a new kind of business, kind of 6 months, we realized we needed accountants. So we began our search where we live and breathe kind of Google. It's what we do. So we obviously went searching for accountants on Google. However, in the local area, and again, this gave us the idea of the Accountancy Growth Council, we noticed that many of the accountants in the area just weren't optimized for search. So again, that's a missed opportunity for business owners like us, just starting out. We went to Google straight away, and more business owners will be using Google, using online platforms and social media like TikTok, for instance, to search for accountancy services. So you need to make sure that you're represented across all of these touch points to best expand your lead pipeline. You can't just rely on referrals anymore. Yes, I understand that's a successful route and it may still be working for you, but what we're suggesting is to grow as a business, you need to expand out to these other touch points. And that's why this whole Accountancy Growth Council was set up. So why make these kind of quick wins? Why build foundations? Why understand everything? And why go through the process of kind of 8 steps for success? Well, it's all around building that trust and that credibility swiftly. So you know the services you provide, and you also know the questions that your ideal customers ask you just from the clients that you've already got. Just focusing on this and focusing on your audience will help you succeed online as well. You'll often find, if you've spoken to other agencies in the past, a lot of them will try and complicate things, throw up smoke and mirrors and make it all sound really complicated. It's really not. It's actually quite simple. You find the questions, the pain points that your customers have got, and you start answering that information online through your website. And that's how you grow, and that's how you become visible online. And there's 2 ways to make these quick wins. Again, we'll talk over the 8 weeks of different ways to do it. Today, we're splitting the quick wins out into 2 areas. So the first one is your local SEO, your local presence, and how to optimize that for these quick wins. And optimizing for local search is crucial when it comes to search, because many of your prospective customers, like me and Harry, we would look for accountants Northampton, for instance. So a lot of these examples are accountancy firms in Northampton. And yeah, we were searching locally. So we'd put the services we need, and we'd have the caveat of near me of the location as well. Now, one of the best ways to target these local searches is by optimizing your Google My Business profile. Hopefully you've heard of that, but when you put in a search for a business, you'll tend to find a panel on the right-hand side of the SERP that explains the business and gives features. We need to make sure that is fully optimized, because that is a quick and effective way to help you boost your online visibility and attract more local clients. So again, Google My Business, think of it as a virtual storefront to your potential custom clients. I'm willing to bet the majority of your clients will come from the local area. So by giving them as much information and making use of every feature that Google My Business allows you to use, having that and more kind of local flavorings, that will help you succeed locally. So there are 5 kind of quick wins here with local SEO when it comes to Google My Business. And the first is to complete your profile. The number of accountancy firms that I've looked at over the past kind of 3 weeks with their Google My Business accounts, and the profiles just aren't complete. It's such a quick win, just going through the setup process and ensuring that all sections of the profile are as complete as possible. So some of the key areas that you can see on this screen are business name, your office address, phone numbers, your website, hours of operation, and a brief but informative kind of description of your services. You can do certain tags and elements like that. Just making sure that all of these bits of information for the user is filled out will give you such a big boost when it comes to local SEO. And also Google My Business, and again this translates to other systems as well, so like Bing and so on, they'll have their own local kind of SEO profiles like Google My Business, so you can transfer over to those as well. So when it comes to service categories as well, it's a bit like kind of keywords that you target and people search for. You can add relevant categories for your accounting services on Google My Business, and Google uses these categories to determine which searches your business will appear for. So what you need to be is as specific about your services as possible to match your specialty. So and add as many as you possibly can, as Google allows you to do, because again, you're not held to just 1 or 2 services. You could have, up to 10 services. Upload high quality images. Now again, Google My Business, they like the images. People are obviously kind of visual creatures as well. They like to see images of where it is, get a quick fire kind of viewpoint of where the location is. So pictures of outside the building, outside your office or team really helps as well, kind of build up, oh, okay, I know where that is. I've heard of them, I'll go to them. It just helps build kind of attention to your brand as well, and creates a positive first impression as well. So check your Google My Business profile even, and just check the quality of your images. If there's old images, if you've had changed office recently, make sure the images are updated and your brand is represented in the best possible light as well. And encourage reviews. Remember, people buy from people. They're looking for expertise, but they're also looking at other customers, other clients. So again, me and Harry, when selecting an accountant, we listen to word of mouth as well. We had people actually giving us real life kind of reviews of accountants as well. So reviews are vitally important. They can boost your reputation and influence potential clients as well, because Google as well, they want to make sure that the search engine results page is as useful as possible. So again, they will probably rank businesses that have higher review ratings than businesses that have really low reviews or no reviews as well. The other tip here is to respond to any and all reviews, both positive and negative, to show that you value the feedback and that you are constantly kind of viewing that your Google My Business profile, so that for people it gives them a quick look that, oh, okay, this information must be accurate because they're responding to reviews. It's a quick way to show your kind of build trust and that kind of authority that the information shown on the search engine results page is correct. And finally, remember to link your Google My Business profile to your website to facilitate user navigation. Again, a lot of profiles don't add websites, don't add phone numbers, so people can't contact. It's just a kind of summary of the business. lots of people might have been kind of advised in the past, oh, don't add a link in your Google My Business profile. You want them coming through to your website directly through the SERPs. No, this is just another route. You can measure it all through a Google My Business link in your Google Analytics. So make sure you make use of every single feature. Add these website links. You'll be surprised by how much traffic locally goes through a Google My Business profile over a website as well. So any questions, Josh, Harry, on the local side?
Yeah, we've got a couple. First one is fairly broad from Richard, which is, do people still search locally? Now, I'm guessing that is referring to the fact that obviously iPhones, other mobile devices, they'll have location services on and things like that. So, yeah, the question from Richard is, do people still search locally?
Yes, it's obviously when anybody kind of searches on Google, you will notice whichever area you're in, services, businesses will be from your local area, because it makes sense that if you're searching for a particular product or a service, you'd want to be serviced locally. It's easier to get to than traveling elsewhere. That's just the way that is kind of controlled in Google's algorithms, but it makes complete sense as well. And also just the simple fact, yes, you might not need to put Northampton in, but like mine and your search, Harry, when we were searching for an accountant, we'd put accountancy services, and all of the services that came up in our search results pages were from the local area, because they knew from the intent. And if that wasn't correct, if we wanted a different location, that's when we'd also put in a different location. Does that help?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so moving on from the local SEO play with Google My Business, also you can start making content quick wins as well. And the way to do this is optimizing content you've already got on your website. It's a quick and effective way to enhance your performance and attract more organic traffic as well. To do this, you're going to need to use a tool called Google Search Console. If you've joined us for the previous webinars, we were discussing Search Console and the power of it. I'll just give you a quick kind of recap. But it's my belief that it's an invaluable tool for any accountant looking to grow their business, because this tool allows you to identify content opportunities. Again, cast your mind back earlier in this webinar, I was talking about making sure that you're answering kind of user pain points or answering the search queries that your users have got. This tool allows you to understand what search queries your users have been using, what information they're searching for, and it allows you to obviously then build content around that. So we can use Google Search Console for two key elements when it comes to optimizing your content. Firstly, is to identify low-hanging fruit. So you can use Google Search Console to identify pages on your site that have a lot of impressions, i.e. they're being shown on Google SERPs a lot for a lot of different searches. But people aren't clicking through to the pages, so they've got a low click-through rate. That, to me, would signify that these pages need optimization. So we need to enhance those meta titles, we need to enhance those meta descriptions, and also potentially the content on the page to attract more clicks and make it useful for those users as well. So, and I suppose the most powerful feature for Google Search Console as well is being able to analyze the search queries your users are actually putting into Google to find your site or potentially your competitors as well. So using the information on these queries, you can find the queries that, okay, you're ranking well, you're well covered in that area potentially. So it could be, I don't know, bookkeeping services, keywords around that. Yes, okay, great. You've got a lot of like service pages and blogs and bookkeeping, but then when it comes to, I don't know, VAT returns, you might be missing a section or content on VAT returns, and this by being able to kind of analyze the search queries, you can see from the number of impressions you're getting and the number of clicks. If you're getting a lot of impressions but no clicks, again, that might be a bit of a gap as well. So you can start to create new content or expand existing pages to fill those gaps as well. So any questions on the content front? No.
Yeah, we got a couple here. We got one from Ed Brendan, which is, can you just like confirm the terminology around low hanging fruit? So I guess what is low hanging fruit?
Yeah, sure. So low hanging fruit, it's just it's probably a bit of kind of organic search jargon that we use in the industry. For us, low hanging fruit is those prime opportunities, those quick wins that we can go after because they're easy to pick from the tree, essentially. And basically, low hanging fruit when it comes to Google Search Console with search queries or with pages is those that are obviously pages that are appearing on Google for a lot of searches, so impressions. That means they've been shown on Google results page, but that could mean have been shown position 1, position 2 on page 1, or they could be position 99, position 100 on the 10th page of Google. So obviously when you get to the 10th page of Google, not many searches are going to scroll through 100 different results on Google to get to a website. Again, tends to be, if you keep these figures in your head, 75% of all clicks happen on page 1 of Google, and then 25% of all clicks happen from page 2 and down. So clearly it's beneficial to be on page 1 to get those higher click-through rates. So classic example, if you've got a keyword that's bringing in a lot of impressions and you're ranking position 11 or 12 on Google, so top of page 2, by changing some bits on that page and trying to get you to rank on page 1, you could triple the amount of clicks you get through to that page and therefore triple the amount of traffic. So that is a prime kind of low-hanging piece of fruit that we can go after. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that does make sense. And then another one from Rachel, who asks, so basically, I'll paraphrase a little bit, but essentially, one of her biggest concerns is previously they've invested in SEO, but haven't really seen any signs of this working or any measurement behind it. So let's say we are to make quick wins. How do you know those quick wins are working?
Yeah, great question. So again, use tools. If you haven't got Google Analytics 4 or Google Search Console set up, you need to get that set up before you do anything, because what's the point of putting effort in? You could count it on the number of calls that you get or the number of forms that you get through your inbox, but you could be waiting months for that. SEO and organic search is a longer term play. So we often say you probably won't see much in the first month or so, but by 3 months, you should definitely be seeing some green shoots. And the way that works is lead and lag measures. So your lead measures, I've mentioned it a number of times, impressions. If your impressions are really high, they will grow pretty quickly. When you add a new piece of content, you'll be ranking for certain keywords. Impressions will start to increase. Okay, great, the page has been indexed, we're starting to rank for that, but you might be ranking in position 70. So that's a lead measure. And then the lag measure is obviously clicks through or average ranking positions improving as well, obviously. And then traffic to your site should then increase kind of 3 months to 6 months after that piece of content as well.
Nice. Yeah, and then sorry, Josh, just one more. Just to follow up on that from something that you've said. And what I will say again is I think webinar 7 is going to cover measurement in detail, but I think probably a follow up from what you said there around tracking emails. And the question is simply, can you track emails from your website?
Yes, absolutely. You can track pretty much anything, any behavior on your site, any event on your site, you can track using events and goals within GA4. You should be set up on something called Google Tag Manager. And again, any event. So we call it mail to links or tell links. We can just add that tracking so we can understand, okay, which emails are being sent and which phone calls are being received from which pages and from basically which channel they have come from. So again, we can help with all of that. So if anyone's struggling to get things set up or don't understand it, we're happy to jump on a quick call, kind of talk you through it, or even help you implement that as well. So well versed in setting up Google Analytics, Search Console, or Google Tag Manager for clients.
Perfect. Thanks, Brennan.
Right, got a question from Emily. Obviously, we've touched on reviews earlier in the deck. So, how important are these reviews and testimonials to actually showcase them on your website?
Yeah, great question. It's one of the best things you can do, in my opinion. It's called social proofing. Again, it builds your authority, it builds that credibility and that trust as well. If people are willing to give you a testimonial because your service was that good, other people will recognize that and listen to it more if it came from one of their peers than kind of just listening to what an accountancy firm is saying about itself. So yeah, reviews for everything is so important. Over the past couple of years, we've seen a massive rise in user generated content. So again, that can be reviews, or it can be kind of videos, away from accountancy firms. But you've seen, everyone's probably seen the ads for like mattresses, unboxing the mattresses, and everyone's saying, "Oh, how fantastic this mattress is." It's the same thing. It's kind of that social proof. Oh, well, they've done it. It looked good. They're saying it's really good. So we feel safe that we aren't going to be ripped off. And they're going to do what they say they're going to do. So that's why reviews are really important.
Yeah, and another one quickly. So we obviously spoke about images as well. Obviously, we know the size of an image can affect site speed, etc. If an accountancy firm doesn't have the sort of facilities to sort of improve their images, etc., how do they go about doing that? Is an iPhone good enough to start with?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, when I was talking about this user-generated content, most of it's going to be produced on an iPhone or an Android phone. Today those cameras are far better than kind of cameras back 5-10 years ago. So, yeah, by all means, quick snaps from the outside of the building from iPhone cameras, just kind of potentially Googling like the best angles and elements like that to add a bit of the production value. But yeah, just making sure that those images are kind of all set, and then running it through a free tool on Google. If you just find like image compression tools, like one is Tiny PNG, you can just pop your image into that and it will compress it for you. So when you add it to the site, it will be much smaller and compressed. That won't affect page speeds. And again, you can use that on Google My Business profiles as well. Perfect. Okay, so let's just recap on the key points from today's kind of session on quick wins. Why make quick wins? It's always important to understand the justification behind doing something. With all of this across the 8 weeks, if you can't answer the question, why are you doing it? There's absolutely no point in doing it. So for these quick wins, why you do it is it helps you build that trust and credibility that helps you obviously gain those customers, but it also is a key factor for Google's ranking algorithm. So the more authority and trust you've got in your services, the better Google will rank you for any page that you start to deliver as well. Then we can optimize for local search through Google My Business. Again, the majority of searches for anyone looking for accountancy services will be local terms like bookkeeping services, Northampton. And the way to optimize for that local search is Google My Business. Google My Business is essentially your virtual storefront. It is that important. So you need to be updating it. Initial kind of optimization, might take a good couple of hours, but once you've done that, check in kind of once every couple of weeks on reviews, but just check your profile every kind of month or so. You can also change certain features. So your opening times, for instance, around the Christmas and New Year break, which is coming up, you can actually set festive times on Google, and that's really useful as well for people. So it's worthwhile a regular checkup. It can be, a 10-second check, but just making sure Google My Business is up to date is a quick win. And also a quick win, you need to optimize your existing content to basically target the keywords you want to target in a more effective way. That will help enhance your website's performance and attract more organic traffic. And to do this, you need to identify those content opportunities through the use of Google Search Console. And again, by finding these gaps and these quick wins, that can significantly contribute to your business growth as well. So, unless there's any more questions, don't think there is. The council for week 3 is now adjourned. Hopefully that's been really useful for everyone. Again, we've got the playbook that details the 8 steps of organic search success for accountants. You should have a copy of that already if you're sitting here on the webinar, but if not, if you've got any questions or any feedback on these first 3 webinars, please email josh.truman@1225.io. And our next session will be at 10 a.m. next Wednesday, the 22nd of November. So thank you very much for your time today.